What's up, friends? This is the Breakaway Live with JJ and the Kank. And we
K-Fitz.
have, what's that? Dang.
K-Fitz.
K-Fitz. K-Fitz, the Kank. He's the Grinch. He's everything. I don't know. And anyways, we have a lot to talk about.
That we do. There has been a lot going on with the Stars.
That that team surprised me in the preseason.
You know, okay. So I've actually had this feeling since the second game of the preseason. This team has a completely different feel than any
Mm,
team thus far.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know what's changed, but it just seems like, well, first of all, we went undefeated in the preseason. And not only went undefeated, but went undefeated in dominant fashion.
They
Um,
lost one, actually.
oh, I'm sorry, you're right. You're right. We did lose one. I apologize. We did lose
Just
one,
one.
just one game. But however, the games we won in dominant fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you saw a lot of energy that you don't see in preseason games out of this team, and that energy seems to have carried over into the regular season so far.
Sure has. And I'll tell you what scared me, feeding off of what you said, was the plug and play thing. Like,
Right.
I knew for sure that the first two lines were the only ones that were set in stone pretty much,
hmm
but it didn't matter in the preseason.
Coming into the regular season, I was a little nervous because we're, of course, right now without our captain. Wishing him the best. Hopefully, he gets back on the ice soon, but not too soon. Don't hurt yourself trying to get out there. I know. Old Jamie Ben's probably chomping at the bit to get back out there, but give your body a chance to heal. You're not as young and spry as you once were, but looking forward to him eventually coming back into this team. But going into the regular season without him, you kind of had this wonder of, okay, is there going to be a step up in leadership? And I believe there has been a step up in leadership. And if you ask me, that step up in leadership has been one of our newest player additions, and that's Mr. Rantanen.
Oh, so you like Miko.
Man, I'm telling you, I know a lot of fans kind of scratched their heads and scoffed and had issues when we brought him in, and especially when we brought him in, the time frame and things of that nature. I know a lot was going on, and it just kind of, people were like, well, why aren't we focusing more on defensive? And because we're having issues with defense and this and another. But if you look at what this team has done, especially right now with that with him, uh, they're on fire. You're not only getting play from him, you're getting play from your top players. And I mean, Wyatt Johnson, of course, he's been on fire past couple seasons, but uh, Jason Robertson had a very off season, especially in the later part of the season last year. Look at him this year; he looks reinvigorated. And I understand he's in contract negotiations and things of that nature, and maybe that's part of it. But he just looks like he's having more. He looks like he's having fun out there again.
Yeah, it made me wonder too because we talked about, hey, are there injuries we don't know about, this, that, and the other?
Yeah, we did discuss a lot of that last season because he wasn't. He just didn't. Not only was he not playing the way he normally would play, but if you looked at him on the sideline, he looked very frustrated. He looked very, out of sync. Not like he was having a good time. Not like he was where he needed to be mentally and physically.
Yeah, he really did.
And then
Um,
you look at him this season, he has just come out with rocket on. I mean, he's right now. I know we're only 2 games in, and you really can't talk about averages, but in all honesty, he's averaging 1 goal per game right now. It's pretty good.
I mean, you could put it, what do they call it, on pace, quote unquote, for whatever amount of points. Yeah, he's totaling a point a game right now. So that's what 82 plus points,
Yeah.
obviously.
Right now he's sitting at 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 total points on the season. I mean, rewind this back to the end of the last season, you just didn't see this play out of him. And I'll be honest with, I mean, a lot of us were questioning, did he still want to be in Dallas? Is he doing this because is he playing this way the way he was playing last season, especially into the playoffs? We just really didn't get the Jason Robertson we were used to, especially in the playoffs. And it raised a lot of questions. But I think those questions are being answered right now.
Yeah, and I noticed that the playoffs, I really don't want to say everybody dried up, but that's kind of what it looked like.
Oh yeah,
The
the energy
the
was
offense.
there was no energy. There was no
No,
energy in the playoffs last season. None.
no, it's like they couldn't score anymore. Maybe some of them quit. I don't know. I'm not in the locker room. I don't have the guts to label it as such, you know. But it's like
Yeah,
what happened with Ottinger.
right.
There might have been something going on that we have no clue about, and
Yeah.
they
I
were just
mean,
over it.
when they pulled Ottinger, that was a shock. That was a shock. I mean, but you know what? In all honesty, it might have been a shock that this team needed.
I don't know.
Maybe not
I
at the
can,
time, but in the long run.
yeah, yeah. I can tell you that for a fact. I don't, I don't guarantee Gulutzan's gonna blame one player.
No.
I mean, when the chips are down, man, he's gonna hold every one of them accountable. And
Yes.
I mean, DeBoer might have been doing the same thing,
I
but it
think
didn't seem like that.
so. One thing, if you've ever taken, management courses or where you've learned about different management styles,
Yep.
Coach DeBoer seemed to me, and this is just me, I don't know, and this is based on his interviews and his demeanor on the sideline and things of that nature. He
Hmm.
was more of the avoidance type leader. Yes, he's got a great mind for the game. Yes, he's good at putting teams together. But when it comes to the hard things and having to make those hard decisions and those hard choices, it just seems to me like he kind of was wanting to avoid the issue and hope it would resolve itself. And a lot of times he wouldn't actually take initiative to do something until, oh, geez, now it's too late. Now we're behind the 8 ball. Now this and that and another. And, you know, case in point, and I don't want to go harping on this, but a few seasons ago, Jamie Benn, I know he's our captain. I love him, and I don't want to throw him on the cross again, but he made a bad decision in a playoff game, and I still, to this day, I don't think Coach DeBoer really held him accountable because when you've got that C on your chest, it's almost like, they say law enforcement officers are held at a higher standard.
Hmm.
I personally feel if you've got that C on your chest or that A on your chest, you should be held at a higher standard. And I'm all for defending your players and doing whatnot, but I'm against doing things that are a detriment to your team, especially in those type of situations when he did what he did. And like I said, I don't want to harp on the past. If you know, you know what I'm talking about. And I just felt like Coach DeBoer never really addressed that situation the way he should have. He kind of scapegoated, sidestepped it, and never really addressed the it's like this past weekend with the NFL. I don't know which player it was, but there was an incident between the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs after the game, where a Detroit Lions player walked up and struck a Kansas City player.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
coach, their head coach came out and said, "That's not how we do things around here," and basically said it will be handled. He knows that I love him as a player, but that's not how we are as an organization. That's not how I want us to be perceived. He was wrong, completely wrong, and took ownership as a head coach that, hey, this is one of my players. He shouldn't have done that. So going back to what I was saying is, if you look at Coach DeBoer's head coaching and the head coach we've got now, it's like day and night. You can definitely tell the accountability is there, and you can see it. Everybody, I like to use the word cohesive. Last season, honest and truly, and you can't tell me as a Dallas Star fan that you felt that the team was a cohesive team last season. I feel it. It just felt like a mishmash of players going out there doing what they can do to try to win games. And yes, they made the playoffs, but in all honesty, we sputtered into the playoffs. I mean, we really did. Uh, you know, that's just being as honest as I can be. And that's the way I shoot. I shoot it straight. I don't sit there and sugarcoat. I'm not one of these that thinks, "Oh, my team is great just because they're my team." I call it like I see it. If there's something going on and it needs to be addressed, I say it. Hey, y'all, hey, this is not right. I don't sit there and drink the Kool-Aid.
What?
This season though, I'm telling you, when you look at and what I'm saying is not even just the play on the ice. Focus on when they shoot the bench during plays and stuff. They're communicating left and right. It's a cohesive unit. It just feels like this feels like this is a team. Or is it
You
just
know,
me?
no, it's not. And to circle back to the management thing, I'll piggyback off of what you said. I think DeBoer was more of a delegation type coach as well.
Right?
Not just avoidance, but delegation. So, okay, you have the C, you have the A, you have the A. Anything that goes on the ice is out of my hands. Now, I could be dead A double crooked that are wrong, but that's, I mean, the proof is in the pudding that the Stars would play 20, 40 minutes and then just fall off.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Just
there were many
coast.
games by the third period that we were gassed, gone.
For doing
Which,
what? Chasing the puck.
right? Which is interesting because the previous seasons, the third period is where the Stars would turn it on as a team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying every game they did that, but in the most part, many games. In fact, it was one thing that would frustrate us. Me and you would have these discussions about the first and second period. They would like be no energy. All of a sudden, the third period, and once again, that's one of those things. I don't know if something's changed coaching wise at the time when Coach DeBoer was in there between the first, second period and the third period, but it just seemed like whatever was going on, it didn't change until the third period. Whereas in last season, it felt like the first and second period, okay, third period, gone, dead. If they
Mm-hmm.
were behind in the third period, the likelihood of them coming back was slim.
And here's the thing for you too. I want to get your opinion on this. I'll start the discussion. You can run with it if you choose. Last season, they seemed to feel out their opponents no matter how many times they played them.
Oh yeah,
And this year, you've had Winnipeg already, Colorado already, right?
right. And then we got
And Minnesota too.
we have Minnesota coming up. We've had three of our big rivalries in the first three games of the season.
And for the first two thus far, we're still waiting on the verdict tomorrow. I want you to watch out for this because I want to see if there's any weight to it. They don't feel out opponents with Gulutzan and the guy from Cedar Park up here. God, I can't remember his name now, and I wrote about him. Oh my goodness. Um, they dictate the pace. They say, "All right, we're stepping foot on the ice. This game is ours."
Right?
When did you see that with DeBoer?
Very rarely. In fact, usually we were a very slow startup team. We were, like you said, a very feel them out first team. Even though we could be on a, where we just played them either the night before or 2 nights before, and we would still be on that feel them out process.
It bothers me too because I've seen somebody compare them to the Dallas Cowboys, saying they're the Dallas Cowboys on ice, right? Like they just kind of lollygag around. That's done now.
Yeah, not this season. They're certainly not the Dallas Cowboys on ice for sure. So here's an observation that I've made, and it just seems once again, I'm going to fall back on something that I said a long while ago, where when we were discussing, people having issues with bringing certain players in and things of that nature, and armchair quarterbacking, and why didn't they choose this player over that player? Now, everything has got to be a fit. And when you're as a GM or a head coach and you're discussing who should we bring in, why should we bring this person in? Do we feel this person's going to have a good fit for it? It's like you can take a team and you can put the best players in the league on one team. Doesn't mean they're going to be successful. Now, if you look at them bringing Rantanen in, I'm telling you, that energy has picked up. And I don't know if maybe he has brought an aggressive attitude to this team, but if you saw when he scored that first goal and how the not just the fans went nuts, the players went nuts. It was almost poetic justice that he scored the first goal of the season. And it has
Mhm.
just been an energy that has been carrying so far. And I hope this energy carries through the whole season because I'm telling you, this Stars team feels like this Stars team, and I am not one, as you know, I am not one to say I feel like they can not only make it to the cup but win the cup this early in the season. But I'm telling you, with the energy that I'm feeling from this team, I could see this team making a long run in the playoffs and possibly winning the cup this season. This team has that feel. I can't explain it. It's not something I can sit there and put into words, and I've tried. It's just a feeling you get when you watch them. It's an excitement. Like last season, when I would turn a Stars game on, I'd have my headphone in. I'd be sitting next to my wife. She's watching her show, and I'd barely be paying attention. This season, I'm like on the edge of my seat because you're just what's going to happen. It's a whole different feel. I also feel like we're a much more aggressive attacking style offense now, which is something that we have needed for a long while. This pass in, chase in. Yeah, okay, I understand there's certain circumstances where you need to do that, especially if you need to do a line change. I get that. But when you have those breakaway moments, when you have the moments where you can be aggressive and get into the offensive zone, man, you've got to take those. And it just seems like they're jumping on those opportunities this season and it's paying off.
For sure. It kind of reminds me of what was it, 2013, I believe, when Lindy Ruff coached the Stars. Maybe that was 2015. I don't remember, to be honest with you. That was a hot minute ago. They were very offensive minded. Like it
Well,
wasn't.
not even just to
Go,
go, let's go way back to when they won the Stanley Cup with Coach Hitchcock. They were a very offensive minded and a very aggressive in the in the offensive zone. They were super aggressive.
yeah, and the second time around for Hitch, though, they
So,
were defensive first.
yeah, he kind of changed his coaching strategy.
And to go back on another thing you said, it doesn't matter if it's one of those, what do you call the players that people clamor for? It's not a glamorous
All,
name.
like an all-star player, superstar.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. This team isn't full of superstars, all stars, and people that belong in the marquee lights of Hollywood. No, but the two lines that we do have that have those names, I mean, the ones under them that can kind of grind out the rest of the game, that's all you need.
Yeah,
And it makes them scary as well that without Jamie Benn, you can plug and play whoever and it still works.
it really is. And that's the good thing about this team right now is we're doing this good, and our captain's not even out there.
Just
Imagine
think
what it's
what it's
going to
going
be
to be.
like when he gets back.
Yep. I was just about to say that.
And let's just take a look at things from Jamie Benn's viewpoint. I personally would think it takes a lot of the weight off of his shoulders as well. Because you got to think when you're the captain, things people look at you. And if
Hmm.
you're successful, that's great. But if you're not successful, they're going to question. Look how successful they're being right now. When he does come back, he understands this team is already, getting it. And he's not going to have to come out there and have to straighten things up and put people back in their place and tell them, hey, look, this is what needs to be done. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. This team is working like a well-oiled machine, and it's this early in the season. They were already looking good without even their starters during the preseason. I mean,
Yep.
we've got a lot of good talent on this team. That's what blew me away.
Yeah, I like what Nathan Bastian has brought to the lineup too. The dude can
Oh
fight and
yeah.
he can score.
He has brought, but that's what I'm saying. That's part of this energy that I'm telling you. It's not just Rantanen. It's players like him as well. They're just bringing this energy. And before we get too far into things, I do want to say a quick congratulations to Jake Ottinger getting his 150th win. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was the fastest to 150 wins for an American goaltender in the league.
Oh, good
So,
eye.
yeah, good kudos to old Jake there.
Otter's better.
Yeah, he definitely is, especially in them shootouts.
I know some Winnipeg fans are going to get really mad that I said that, but guess what? Otter's better.
No, old Winnipeg.
Crap.
I was nervous about that first Winnipeg game because Winnipeg was so dominant last season.
I could feel something different
Yeah,
when they turn the tide in the playoffs. It's
yeah,
like something clicked because I mean, I don't know, but President's Trophy means you're the best in the regular season, which means you should maybe respect them a little bit more.
yeah.
But the Stars were like, yeah, okay. What'd they do? They eliminated them in what, six?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. But that once again goes to just show you that President's Cup doesn't always mean anything. Look at the past few President's Cup and what they've done in the playoffs.
I
I don't think any of them have won the cup.
I
And
can't remember the last one that did in Chicago, I think.
I think you're right. I think it was Chicago.
I
Because
can't
I can
remember.
remember back to when Boston was dominating everyone, won the President's Cup. They had the largest win percentage. I think they said in the history of their organization. They were going to dominate and lost in the first round to Florida. The number what 7 seed or something like that. They were the last seed.
I think they were a
Barely,
wild card, if I
yeah,
remember correctly.
yeah, they were a wild card. They barely made the playoffs and wound up going all the way through on that one. But I mean, it just goes to show you, that President's Cup don't always mean you're the best team. It might mean you've got the best record, but that don't mean you got the best team.
Could have been that you just had the most luck, too.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember back in the '90s how many times the Stars would be close to winning the President's Cup or would win the President's Cup. I don't know. It just the President's Cup doesn't seem to have the uh, prestige that it once did. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems like also that some people I don't know about the players, but I've seen fans say it might be a curse.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
come on, man. No.
well, I personally, here's my thought on it, and once again, it, especially going into the playoffs, when you're the number one seed, you've got the President's Cup, and you're playing, and it's the way they kind of do the seeding, and you're playing against a team that shouldn't even be there. Which team is going to be more hungry? The team that is there, should be there, and is expected to win, and they expect themselves to win, or the team that shouldn't be there, that everybody's saying, oh, they'll be gone in 4 games. Which one's going to be more hungry?
My money's on the underdog personally.
Exactly, exactly. Because you know what? What if you got to lose?
Mm,
And unfortunately, a lot of teams, when they get that President's Cup and they have that spectacular season and they're that number one seed, they go into what's called cruise control.
mm-hmm.
And it's not just the NHL. I mean, honest and truly, we could go league for league, and I can guarantee not too more fifth and sixth seed teams have won the championship in different leagues than first and second seed. I don't have the actual statistics, but I can promise you that's probably true statistical.
I mean, yeah, I can see that being a thing. Because, like you said, the top seeds are just like, yeah, okay, we got this. This is in the bag.
Yeah,
And the underdogs are like, you know what? We fought to get here. We're going to fight till we lose.
you know, it's kind of like when I played high school football, our head coach, Coach Bomar, he would say, "You guys are not good enough to walk out there, roll your helmet on the field, and the other team to say, I quit."
Oh, wow.
There's no team out there that is that good where you can just walk out there, roll your helmet on the field, and the other team say, "Oh, I'm done. We ain't going to beat this team. They're just that good." And it doesn't matter. You can be 5-0 going against an 0-5 team. Look at college football right now. How many ranked teams lost this last weekend? I mean, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. Oh, you sucks. But anyway, but not just them, not just them. Look at how many ranked teams lost this weekend. A lot of them. Look at how many ranked teams have lost. I mean, and I'll throw Texas in there. Texas lost to Florida that I don't feel like they should have. I still feel like we were a better team than Florida. It just
Yeah,
any given day, any team can win. There are so many outside factors that affect a game or a sport or anything where you cannot sit there and say, just based on statistics, this team is going to win. Now,
right.
granted, you could say there's a likelihood that this team is going to win or dominate. This whole last week, that's all I heard from my friends that were Oklahoma Sooners fans. Your offense isn't going to do anything. Your defense is horrible. We've got the number one defense in the NCAA. You'd be lucky if you even score a point. Okay, that didn't age well.
They scored what, 23?
Yeah, we scored 23 and they scored, what, six?
6? Two field goals?
Two field goals. That's it. And both those field goals were in the first quarter, I think. Nothing since. You know, in the last 4 seasons, the soon in 3 of the last 4 seasons, the Sooners haven't scored a touchdown on Texas. I mean, I'm just saying, hey, but it just goes to show you that being the number one team, being the best, this and another, doesn't always mean anything. So, um,
Oh, shoot. That would show me that a ranking in general is nothing.
right.
It's cute
So
right now.
I don't base a lot of my feelings on rankings, and I don't sit there and go down the stat sheet and say, okay, how do we rank up against this team? Do we have players with more points? Do we have players with more assists? You know, who's their top. No, no. For me, like I said, games are more about emotion. I'm telling you, if you have high energy, you can win any game. Energy and like you said, last season it felt like going into the playoffs, we were flat. There
Mm-hmm.
was no energy, and it showed. Look at this season, though. If we can keep this energy up that we've got going through these first two games, I'm excited to see what we do against Minnesota, especially being it's going to be back in Dallas. We're coming off of two big wins. One very exciting win against the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, I hate to say it, but those are my favorite type of games. I don't like blowouts. I hate blowouts. I would much rather go up there and scrap it out with a team and come out with a win than have a blowout because I don't know, it just means more. It builds more team cohesive and it just shows you, hey, we're not perfect. We're not perfect, but you know what? When we need to win, we win. And wasn't
Well,
it just so fitting that Rantanen was the one that got the goal to win that?
I loved it. I had to wake up and see all that too because I fell asleep at 2-1. My
Oh,
body just quit on me. So
I watched it, and let me tell you, once again, I'm telling you, yes, the fans that were in attendance that were stars probably went crazy. I know the Colorado fans weren't too happy, but I'm telling you, that's the stars sideline went ballistic.
I bet they did. I mean, that's one thing they said in the preseason. They got to have a team that's willing to grind it out. But I will say this, that a blowout victory against a team that you were supposed to lose to, that's the special kind.
Yes,
Like, that's what I hope for. All I care about is blowing out a team you were supposed to lose to. Like, I gotta believe that feels good. And somebody like Colorado, where, they've always been a thorn in our side for God knows how many years, to grind it out against them, yeah,
I feel
that's. Go ahead.
I feel like Colorado and us. I mean, that's just going to be a rivalry that's always going to be there.
Oh, for sure. That it has to be because the playoff format and all that.
Oh yeah,
Um, Minnesota though is concerning to me. I will admit, because do you remember Vladimir Tarasenko?
oh yeah,
Guess where he plays?
from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that wild?
Oh, K-Fitz has all the puns. It's the wild and it's wild. Ooh, I don't know, man. I'm nervous about it. I really am. But if you can grind it out against Colorado, and
You
you
know,
can go ahead.
and and that's what I'm saying. You just grounded out against Colorado, one of your biggest rivalries.
Mm.
Yeah, you definitely can. I mean, you've definitely got the energy up.
I mean, yeah, but you still have Edmonton.
Yeah. Well, I
That's
mean,
going to be a monkey on their back.
you still have a lot of teams out there. I mean, Winnipeg's not done for yet. We still got to play them.
After the holiday, I believe.
Yeah.
Holidays. I don't remember though. Yeah, I'm excited about the regular season, but my mind goes to Edmonton again though too, because that's who kicked us to the curb. What, twice now?
Edmonton
That.
is definitely they're the that's the it's kind of like in the 90s where Colorado was that Achilles heel that we just it was always them that was taking us out.
Hmm.
Yeah, the same thing with Edmonton right now. Edmonton is that Achilles heel that we just got to figure out a way to get through.
That's an easy fix, but I won't say it because I don't want to catch any grief.
Uh-oh.
McDavid.
Yeah.
Neutralize McDavid, Draisaitl. You're good to go.
Yeah, McDavid and Draisaitl have definitely been thorns in our side. I mean, especially McDavid.
Uh, Wait a minute. I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Can you remember, because I genuinely cannot, how many games did Liam Bichsel play against the Edmonton Oilers?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
Because now you got Bichsel, Petrovic. Bichsel is every bit of 6'7".
Yeah.
Petrovic's like 6'1", 6'2", maybe 6'3". I can't remember, and I just wrote about it. Jeez. You got Bastion, who's not afraid to hit. What if those guys neutralize Edmonton's biggest threats?
I guess time will definitely tell. When we play against them, we'll learn a lot of what we can and cannot do. Here's the thing, if we can at least show that we can neutralize those two players, I, you know, I think that we could get over that hump of Edmonton.
I mean, with the size that they added,
Yeah.
as long as every one of those guys, Petrovic and all of them, knows how to hit, I think that's actually what you were missing.
Well, I think we're missing one other factor that we have right now.
What's that?
We we were missing the counter punch factor. And what I mean by counter punch factor, we couldn't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
We were playing catch up. We were playing chase. McDavid, could all of a sudden take over a game, and we didn't have the offense to keep up with them. Whereas now, I think we do.
And that's weird because Granlund is gone. The Donoff is gone. All those guys that have left, CC included, were guys that I was afraid of losing.
But see, that's one thing that I wanted to go into is that team cohesion. Yes, those are great players and had great individual efforts, but once again, this team feels much more cohesive than when we had those players. And that, believe it or not, is going to be more of a key factor than having those players in their stats.
What is that saying where effort outlasts talent? I have it backwards. I'm not sure how it goes.
Yeah, effort will always outdo, or yeah, effort will always outdo talent. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't put forth the effort, it doesn't mean anything.
See, that makes me wonder about one of the newest acquisitions we had because he was a original Dallas Star, at least for 12 years. Y'all know who he is, or 12 years or so.
Uh,
And he wanted out and got sent to St. Louis. Yeah, that guy. See, now I find myself being one of those fans that are like, well, why should I trust him now?
exactly.
And here
Well,
he is.
let's see.
I don't trust his effort though. Like, because Val Nichushkin did the same thing. There was a season he didn't score, so he just quit.
Yeah.
They shipped him to Colorado, and then he opened everything back up again. Like, what? And you
Once again,
can't sit there.
that just goes to show you, though, but if a player wants to be there and you have that team cohesiveness, that team mentality, you're going to win. It's when you start losing that cohesive, when you start losing that mentality, when players don't want to be in a certain situation, they're not going to play their best game for you. Once again, you can have a team full of all stars. If those all stars don't want to be there, guess what? They're not all stars anymore.
No, they're on the bench or taking up somebody's ice time that wants to be there.
Yeah,
That's nuts. That is a scary thought. What about you remember Joe Pavelski and that team that always said a lot for a little?
yeah.
How are we feeling about that with these guys?
It's got that feeling where, we're getting a lot from not so, like I said, these aren't all stars. These are, guys that almost it almost has that feeling of they have something to prove.
Old guys included.
Yeah, like a chip on their shoulder.
I think that's what they needed. I think a guy like Tyler Sagan or Jamie Benn needed to hear, "Oh, he's too old, he's too slow, he's injury prone."
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. And yet I still find myself terrified of Vladimir Tarasenko tomorrow night cuz the defense, man, how are they going to handle him?
Oh. Honest and truly, we're 2 games in, so I can't really make a call on how the defense is going to handle him because we just haven't seen enough of the defense to know what we're actually capable of doing. We may come out and dominate him, or we
True.
may come out and get dominated by him. It's right now we're too early in the season to make any kind of call like that. Uh,
We can
does a player like him make you nervous? Of course it does.
yeah.
Yeah, why wouldn't it? You'd be stupid not to. But does that mean that I'm going to sit there and go, "Oh my God, we're done for"? No. I'm interested to see. And here's another thing. Yes, defensively we've got to handle him, but they've also got to handle us offensively.
Mhm.
That's another factor that you got to think of. If you can keep up tit for tat, which it seems like we're pretty good at doing so far this season, it makes for definitely some interesting games.
Yeah, on the flip side of that coin, Minnesota's got a plan for Rantanen and Johnston and Sagan, and they even
Even
have to
Robertson.
yeah, Robertson. And I mean, you can't.
Everybody seems to have forgotten about Robo because of how he played last season towards the end of the season. I just feel like there's not a lot of focus on him for some reason, and I think that's a mistake.
So you think if they went and focused on Rantanen, that Robo would light it up?
Yeah, I think we've got one of those offenses right now, and the team mentality right now to where it's almost like they look forward to that. Yeah, go ahead, focus on him. Then we're going to hit you here. It's almost like the old rope-a-dope boxer. You're focusing on his left hand, he's gonna hit you with the right hand. You're focusing on the right hand, he's gonna hit you with the left hand. Muhammad Ali was great.
Ooh, okay. So tomorrow could be interesting.
Oh, I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think it could be. I think it's going to be. I honestly, truly, I could see this game going many different ways. I could see us dominating. I could see them dominating. I could see it being a slugfest. It's one of those things, and it's a rivalry game. It's always a rivalry game with us in Minnesota and us in Colorado and now us in Edmonton. Those are always going to be those. You just never know who's going to win those type of games. There's so much emotion that goes into it. I think one edge that we're going to have is number one, we're playing in front of Dallas. I think the Dallas fans are going to be out there hooping and hollering. Um,
Oh yeah,
so yeah, and I think it's going to bring a different kind of energy than what we've had in the past.
man. I hope so. The crowd feels different too, since you mentioned it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, how many times in the past have I said it never felt like we actually had home ice advantage? In fact, a couple of seasons ago, we were better on the road than we were at home. And
Yep.
part of the reason that was because we just didn't have that home ice advantage feeling. Where right now, I don't know, it just feels electric.
Man, I hope that electricity lasts too.
Yeah, I hope so too. And, but this is the kind of team where it feels like it can. That's what, I've seen, in fact, it's almost like watching a football game. And I always go back to football because I know a lot more about football than I do hockey, and I played football. I always get nervous when my team starts doing really good early in a game
Hmm.
because it's like the greater the rise, the harder the fall.
Yep.
And I don't know, you got to understand. I was a Houston Oilers fan back in the day, and I watched the game when the Buffalo Bills came back on them for at what was at the time the biggest comeback in playoff history. Thank God that's been beaten now. But at the time, I just remember, and I called it before it even happened. I was watching that game. My dad was right there, and I watched the defense, and I saw that we went into what's called a prevent defense, which doesn't. I have a saying about the prevent defense. All it does is prevent you from winning. It
Hmm.
is, and the problem with it is our defense went into this prevent mode and wasn't aggressive, and we lost that game because we allowed them to stay in the game and come back. And that's what you've got to be nervous about is when you get some teams where you get that high energy at the beginning of the season and then all of a sudden it just fizzles. This team though just has this different feel. Like I feel like this can carry out. Like
Man.
I honestly and truly I don't know why, but I have this feeling like this is we could actually have like a long run winning streak.
I mean, you're already starting off on a high note too.
I mean, in the past we've done what? We've won like two, three, 4 games, then we lose two, three, 4 games. I just have this feeling this season that this could be a season where we come out and win 4, 5, 6 games in a row.
Yeah.
If they can keep the momentum going, and you know, maybe I'm just thinking too highly on this team, but I just have that feeling.
Well, it goes back to everybody putting effort in though too, like you said.
Yeah,
It's I don't need a big name on the back of my jersey. I'm gonna come out here and make a name.
no, and one of my favorite sayings from any coach, and this was actually said by Coach Herb Brooks. And yes, it was in the movie The Miracle, and the reason they wanted it in the movie The Miracle was because it was one of those sayings that Herb Brooks was known for.
Hmm.
The name on the front of the jersey is much more important than the name on the back.
Yes. The name on the front is who you're fighting for.
Yep. And that's what you need a team to understand.
Hmm.
The problem is when you bring in a bunch of great individuals, but not great team members. I personally will take a team full of good team members over a team of all stars any day of the week. You know what? We might lose, but at least we're a team.
Yeah. And they went free agency and got three people.
Yeah,
You and I both talked about that. I think I was the one that goes, "Why only three people?" But it makes sense now.
it does. And like I said at the time, and I believe I said this at the time, there's a reason. I know there were players out there that everybody's like, why aren't we going after this player? Why aren't we going after that defenseman? We need defense. We need this, that, and another. You know, yeah, on paper, these players look great. Oh, it would be great to have them. I always bring the Wayne Gretzky analogy in. Wayne Gretzky was a great player, and he played on some great teams. They had great leadership, and he'll be the first to tell you one of the most humble people. If you ever watch him in interviews, he never sits there and takes, oh, I was the greatest and I did this, I did that. It was always the people around him that
Hmm.
made him better.
True.
You could have taken Gretzky and put him on any team, and it doesn't mean that they're going to win a cup.
True.
Just because you throw Gretzky, you have got to have a supporting cast. Let's go into Dallas. Yes, we had Madonna, who was great. But if we didn't have Brett Hall, if we didn't have our goaltending the way it was, if we didn't have the team members around Madonna, that team would have never been even playoff worthy or to win the Stanley Cup. That was a team of, honest and truly, it was a team of almost nobodies, really. I mean, yeah, they were some name recognition, but I mean, it wasn't a team of all stars, but it was a team that was cohesive. It was a team that was out there to play for each other, and they had one goal, and that was to win a cup, and they did it.
Mm. They had quite the team too, looking
Oh,
back at it.
yeah, they did. And you know what? Yeah, these are all like household names now, but I mean, at the time they weren't.
No, they had to earn it.
Yeah,
I mean, Ludwig,
yeah.
Hatcher,
Oh, Darian Hatcher.
Mavichuk.
Darian Hatcher was one of my favorites.
Hatcher was a beast.
He was. Darian Hatcher and Brett Hall. Gives me goosebumps just saying those two names.
Brett Hull. Oh my goodness, dude. God, I I don't even know how this team even compares to him. I would say, I think Rantanen might be your. Oh, I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this if somebody listens or the right person listens. Rantanen might be your Joe Newendike.
You know what? That's actually a pretty good comparison. Honest and truly, you might catch flack for that, but you're not going to catch flack from me because you know what? I see that. I can see that.
Like, if I remember correctly, I don't think they wanted him
No, no, no.
around
If I'm
Dallas.
not mistaken, yeah, at the time, like once again, these are players that we have reverence when we speak their name now. It's just like, oh my God, those guys were great. But you're right. At the time, because I followed the Stars a lot back then, and you're right. There were a lot of fans out there that were like, no, he doesn't fit this team. He's not, what are we doing? Well, there goes our cup chances. I mean, just all kinds of craziness back then. Yeah, he wasn't the most like he wasn't like sought after. It's not like we went out there and pulled all these pieces in and was like everybody was like, oh yes, yes, oh my God, we're building a great team. There was a lot of questions, kind of like with Rantanen when we brought him in last season, and especially the contract that we gave him. That's what everybody was freaking out about.
I think 8 years is a steal.
I do too. I mean, are you kidding me? You got 8 years with this guy, and he's already proving why we brought him in.
And if you want to compare it to anybody, a few years ago in the early 2000s, you had a guy like Danny Heatley that had a high term contract. Somebody, maybe it was him, I can't remember, was given, no, it was DiPietro, the goalie, Rick DiPietro, was given a 10-year contract.
Yeah,
Those 8-year contracts are handed out because they firmly believe in somebody now.
yeah,
It's not because X person doesn't want Y player to hit the market.
no. And you know what? And I think this is our GM and our head coach looking and saying, you know what? We need to get help for our players like Johnston and Robertson. We need to get somebody else in here that we feel is going to bring this team together and get this team over that hump and get them to this next level. And, that's the guy. So, the next big contract watch is going to be Robertson. I hope they give Robertson a big contract. I think the young man deserves it. Yeah, he had an off year last season, but you know what? You can't expect all-star seasons from these players season in and season out. They're going to have injuries. They're going to have, they're people. You see, this is where a lot of people don't, they tend to forget these athletes are people. They have things going on in their lives. Think of yourself and your daily activities in your daily workplace. I can tell you right now, I've had off months. I've had months where I've just been off at my job. Everything seems to be going wrong. This is not happening right. I forgot to do this. I missed that. It happens. We're human. You know, we've all got something going on. I've got things going on in my head. I've got, family members that are going through their issues and they're bringing them to me and I got to deal with them. You know, so people always forget the human factor in this. So I hope we can get because I believe this is the last year in his deal, correct?
Uh, I think he has two.
Does he have two?
I
I,
think so. But
yeah. I know
RFA.
I knew that it was either 1 or 2 more years on this contract, but regardless, I know he's in contract negotiations. I know it's kind of at points where they think that it's completely stalled, and then at points it looks like it's moving forward. Last I heard, things are positive, so hopefully they can get that young man locked in because I'd love for that young man to be a star for at least the next 10 years.
I mean, even if they didn't do it this year, he's an RFA, which means the Stars still have him.
Yeah,
Like they have to be the first one to make any sort of offer.
exactly.
So he's not going anywhere.
No,
And
but if you have your player happy with their contract, they're going to play a lot better for you.
yeah, and from the attitude he's exhibited, punching somebody just out of the blue the other day, I think he's finally feeling himself.
Yeah,
I think he's enjoying where he is. He's punching people like he owns the place. Like that. I was like a wrestling fan when I saw the highlight of that. Like I screamed like I saw the Undertaker or something.
like I said, this team has definitely got a different feel to it,
Yes,
and
sir.
and you're seeing it out of everybody, not just our main stars, but everybody. And you're seeing it from our main stars. You're seeing a different energy. I don't know. It just, like I said, Robertson looks like he's having fun again. And the
Hmm.
best thing you can have for your top players is for them to be out there and look like they're having fun. You look at a quarterback like Brett Favre. He was so successful because when he was out there, he was having fun. You look at his years where he wasn't successful, it's because it was like a job. He was out there because he's trying to collect a paycheck. He's not having fun. And I know Brett Favre's under some fire, but I bring him up as because if you were an NFL fan back in his day, they always had what was called the Favre watch because you never knew if he was going to come back or not. But if you watched him in his Green Bay days, I mean, he was out there winning games and having fun. And if you look at him in his last couple seasons with the Jets and things of that nature, he just didn't look like he was having fun. I mean, and to bring another quarterback that was a former Green Bay quarterback. I mean, look at oh good lord, no, I can't even think of his name.
Rogers.
Rodgers for the Steelers now. He's
Hmm.
having fun out there. You look at him, he's having fun. Now, if you looked at his time when he was with the Jets, he didn't look like he was having very much fun. And I don't know if it's just a Jets thing, but he just did not look like he was having fun the last 2 seasons. Granted, I know he got injured a couple seasons ago, but he did play last season. And he didn't do too hot. This season, I mean, he's not, playing stellar, but he's having fun out there, and they're doing pretty decent. So
Could it be the difference between having to carry the team and having to lead the team?
Yeah, it really is. And, I think Robertson had this feeling maybe last season towards the end of it that people just had these expectations of him. And that weight can get on your shoulders and it can really take a lot out of you, which, once again, I'm going to bring it back to Rantanen. I think a player like Rantanen, takes a lot of that pressure away from a player like Jason Robertson.
If you want to bring some Dallas into it, you could compare him to Mike Modano versus, we'll say, Neuendijk.
Yeah.
When Neuendijk was brought in, Brett Hull was brought in, a huge weight was lifted off of Mo's shoulders.
Yeah, for sure. Because, Mo's not expected now to carry the team. If Mo does great in a game, wonderful. If he doesn't, he's got those guys to back him up.
Langenbrunner.
Uh, you can sit there and go down that roster and just every name now. It's just like, wow. At the time, not so much, but now, yeah,
At the time, a lot of the people we were talking about were grinders who we were talking about for this team.
this is true.
The
Well,
this
JJ, on that note, I do got to kind of get running because I do got to go down to my mom's. I told her I'd be there around noon. So I'm going to leave this one with I'm not going to guess goal percentages this season. I'm just going to say I think the Stars are going to win against Minnesota and leave it at that.
You know what? They've already shown me they can grind it out, so I have no argument.
So hopefully we can do another one of these shows in the next couple of weeks. It definitely won't be next week because I got to work next week, but maybe in the next couple of weeks we can do another show, and hopefully we're talking about the Stars on a winning streak.
Yeah, I hope so. What a nice way to kick off the season with you. Thank you.
Most definitely, it has been a pleasure, JJ. And on that note, I'm going to say go Stars.
Go Stars. I'm out as well. Thanks y'all for listening.